Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justina and here I like to make, create, and inspire fun art things with you through my DIYs. Now as you see by today's title and by clicking on today's video, you already know that I have another June-O-Ween video for you. It is the last one in June, which is kind of sad, but don't worry, I have plenty more coming for the rest of the summer. Now in today's video, these DIYs are super simple and very affordable to do. If you do not have these materials around your house, you can always find them at Dollar Tree or even the thrift store. Now, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free, but don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, we would love to have you here in our virtual art family. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. It really does help out my channel. Now, with all that being said, let's just jump right into it and let's art today. To start off our first DIY, I have this pumpkin wooden cutout that I had received from Temu, and I want to give it a little makeover. The first thing I wanted to do was remove the leaf part of the pumpkin, and I wasn't too sure that scissors would get through it, so I first started off with these shears. Now these I believe came from Amazon. I will have it linked down below if you are interested, and I just start cutting it off. Now, to be honest, I don't have the strongest wrist power when it comes to pushing down, so I did have to go back and go in with scissors, which thankfully this wood is really thin enough for regular scissors to go through. Once I had the leaf cut off, I went back in and started reshaping the pumpkin to have more of a pumpkin look, and then since one side was a little bit different than the other, I reshaped the other side as well just so it looked more symmetrical. When I was done cutting, I took some sandpaper that I purchased from Dollar Tree and started sanding all of the edges. This really helped out round out those edges that I just cut off. Once I was done with that, I wanted to cover my pumpkin. I have some of these fabrics left over from my Temu haul that I still had in my crafter stash. I just love all the different patterns. I had a spider web, pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, stripes, and these triangles. I decided on using the spider web pattern. I absolutely love this look and the orange that is in the spider webs. Typically they are black and white, but I just love how Halloween-y this turned out. I am going to attach my fabric to the wooden piece using my Mod Podge. Now I'm just adding a nice generous layer on the wooden piece. That way it can adhere down nicely and everything has an even coat. After I have that even coat, I'm just going to flip over my pumpkin and lay it right down onto my fabric. I do push it down just a little, flip it back over and push it again, making sure that all of the glue that is on the pumpkin side is soaking through the fabric. After I was done, I did cut it down to size just to give me a little bit of a better hold around the pumpkin and the fabric, and then I'm adding another layer of Mod Podge right on top. Now I do suggest, if you cannot find this fabric, you can always find it at Dollar Tree. They sell fat quarters of fabric all year long in different styles. You can find them at Walmart as well, and also online. After I had that down, I did set it to the side to completely dry, and this is how it looks so far. It does have a little shine because I do have a satin Mod Podge, but if you do not like that look, you can always just buy regular Mod Podge with a matte finish. Now to adhere down the edges of my fabric to my pumpkin, I'm making these little slits using a pair of scissors. That way when I glue it down, it's easier to pull the fabric as tight as possible so it has a cleaner edge finish. Now I am using my hot glue to attach the edges just so it could be a little bit faster and it's easier to push down the glue with my little finger protector and have all the pieces where I want them laid down. You can use Mod Podge, but it is a little bit tedious and it takes longer to dry. That's why I am using hot glue. I will continue adding my hot glue, pushing the fabric down into it until the whole pumpkin is nice and covered. Now around the little stem did give me trouble, however it did turn out nicely. This is how it looks, and here is the back of it. I did cut down some of the fabric on the back of it just so I had more space to work with. And now I'm taking some of these wooden beads that I had in my crafter stash. I did purchase them from Dollar Tree, and I am gluing them using my hot glue right to the back of this wooden sign because this is now a riser. I am adding a huge dollop, placing the bead right into it and then pushing down. Once that was dried, I am going to paint the back of my riser just to give it a nice finished look. Plus, I wanted to paint the little wooden beads so that when you look on the side of the riser, you won't see red underneath it. And plus, this just gives it an overall finished look. I did add one thick layer and wait for it to completely dry, and that completes this DIY. This is how my little riser turned out. I think it's really adorable, simple to do, and it just brings a little bit of Halloween to whatever you want to rise up on. I did put a little statue on mine, but there are so many different ways you can use this. You can put it by the sink or just have it on your dresser. The possibilities are endless. Moving right into our next DIYs, I have a couple of old baby jars that I had laying in my crafter stash, and next I have some glittery slimes that I had previously left over from a birthday party that I just think are so adorable. They come in these little cases. I believe I purchased these at Party City if you want to look at the exact one, but you can always find slime at Dollar Tree as well. I also have some of these creepy stickers that I want to use for this project, and I had gotten those from Temu. For the first jar, I have some of this pink slime that I wanted to show you that was really glittery, so I am mixing it a little so that the glitter is incorporated in all of the slime. Now, I did use about 3 little packages of the slime and added it to this little clear bowl that I had, and then next I wanted to add a little depth of color, so I went into my stash and had this red pouring paint left over that I add to the slime, and now I'm mixing it all together. It does change the feeling of the slime. It's really hard to describe, but it's kind of more slimy, little less sticky. Next, I have some of these plastic eyeballs that I purchased from Dollar Tree that fit in that little glass jar, and I wanted to see if how many would fit, and only 2 did. So the first thing I did was rip off some of the slime, placed it in the bottom of my jar, and then I added one of those eyeballs and then I'm adding more of the slime into it. That way it looks like the eyeballs are swimming in its goo or whatever you can imagine eyeballs swimming in. I did add more just so that it was nice and incorporated all into the jar, and this one I did place around it just so that it had enough coverage for the eyeball. I wanted my jar to be fully packed with the slime, that way it can hold the props in there nicely and it would give it a nice full look. So I did have to add another slime right on top of it. I didn't paint this one, I just added it on top, and it still gave it a nice effect. After I was done placing all of the slime into the jar, it was now time to seal the jar. Now, to seal my jar, I am adding hot glue all on the outer edges of the top lid, making sure to be very careful because it did warm up the lid since it is a metal. Now, this will help seal your jar completely. If you do not want your jar to seal completely, you can skip this step. However, I wanted this to be fully closed. That way, if my kids want to play with it, it is nice and sealed. If you do have kids, I suggest warning them about playing with glass because it is very dangerous. I gave them all of the warnings that they needed. Now, I did want to add another level of decor piece right on top of my lid, so I had added this bead down using hot glue. And then lastly, I wanted to paint the lid of my jar black using my Apple Barrel black acrylic paint. I gave it about 2 coats and then placed it to the side to completely dry. Moving right on to our next little jar. Once again, these are baby jars that I just had on hand. You can find little jars at Dollar Tree if you want a different style or look. I am going to fill this jar up using that green slime. Once again, they do all have glitter in this slime, so I'm just mixing it up at first, placing it inside of my jar, and then next I'm adding these little miniature spiders all into it. Now these spiders I purchased or received from Temu, but you can find miniature spiders at Dollar Tree and also at Walmart. I believe at Walmart it's a better price. You get them for 88 to 90 cents rather than $1.25. So I will continue adding spiders and my slime into the jar until the whole jar is full. After I have all of my slime that I want to place in there full, I am attaching my lid once again using my hot glue gun. Then I want to add another knob to this jar as well, place it in the center using my hot glue gun, and then I'm going to paint it also using my black acrylic paint. I did give it about 2 coats as well, place it to the side to completely dry. Now for my last little baby jar, I am using the blue slime and I'm going to take it out of the package, put it into this little bowl as well. I did use only 3. Now for this one, I did add these little foam beads that I purchased from Dollar Tree a while back. I'm pretty sure they still have them, along with little beads from Dollar Tree as well, and then started mixing it all together. I wanted this to look like it had these little green bubbles all into the slime, and I'm just going to play around with it just so that it was well incorporated. After that was done, I am going to break it off and place a little bit at a time inside of my jar. For this jar, I wanted this to have a little skull in it floating around in these green bubbles, so I placed the skull that I believe I purchased that from Party City years ago. I still have a little bit left over, and I placed it into the center of the jar, placed all the slime right around it, and then I was having a little trouble where I wanted the skull to lay, so I'm just moving it all around. Once again, I am going to seal up the jar using my hot glue gun, place a little knob on the top, and then paint it using my black acrylic paint. Here is all of my little jars. I absolutely love this look, but now it's time to label them. I have these stickers. Once again, I received them from Temu a couple years ago, and they were just slightly a little bit too big, so I am cutting it down using a pair of scissors. This one obviously has a spider on it for my little spider jar, so I'm just peeling off of the sticker, placing it right down onto my little jar here and pushing down firmly so that it adheres down to my jar. I absolutely loved how all of these turned out. Super cute, very easy and affordable to do. This one I found a little eyeball sticker, so once again I am removing that sticker, placing it into the center and then pushing down firmly. And lastly, I have a skull sticker. Once again, it was a little bit too big, so I did have to trim it down to size. Remove it, place it down in the center, and that completes this DIY. Here is how my little bottles turned out on our little riser that we made earlier. I absolutely love this. I really want to get more slime with more little bits and pieces that I find throughout the Halloween season and make a bunch of these little potion bottles. I think they are absolutely adorable. I would love to know what you think about these DIYs down in the comment section below. Do you like how they turned out, or do you think they're just too creepy, spooky, or not enough? I would love to know down in the comment section below. Alright friends, that completes today's DIYs. I know it was super short and sweet, but these turned out super great, and plus I am working on the next month's DIYs, which are really fun, and I hope you guys enjoy. Now remember, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free, but don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, we would love to have have you here for our virtual art family. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate each and every one of you. If you don't mind, please smashing that thumbs up button. It really does help out my channel. Now, if you have missed out on my past June-O-Ween videos, I will leave a link down below in the description box for you so that you can go back and check those out, along with my Halloween playlist if you need some more spooky Halloween inspiration. If you know a spooky friend that would like this inspiration or DIYs, please share it to at least one of them. It really does help out my channel. Thank you all again so much for clicking on today's video. I really hope you enjoy, and as always, I will see you in the next one.